Good morning. It's day 152, and it's Terminus Day. On my hike from Mexico to Canada on the Pacific Crest Trail, I had a little company last night. Somebody who had just tagged the border last night, and it's kind of just a day ahead of me, named Fox, who camped here. And there's him leaving away with the beautiful backdrop there. There's frost on the ground. You can see he's a TikTok guy, but there's frost on the ground. It is cold. I just spent a little time this morning finding appropriately sized sticks to replace because it's twofold. One, I want trekking poles because, as I'll explain in a little bit, today's not going to be that any easier than any other day. And two, it's kind of sentimental. I have walked every mile of the Pacific Crest Trail with these trekking poles, and I sure as heck wasn't going to not do it for the last 15. So didn't have the best tent site. I got here at night and it was slanted and dark. I found a way to make it work, and I was really debating today, do I just pack up and go? I was like, you know what? I'm going to leave my stuff. That's why I rushed here or worked so hard yesterday. It was 35 miles to get here, is so I could have a base camp. So I'll leave my tent here and then return here tonight. And it's just really nice to save having to set up and take down the tent. I'm going to bear hang my food in my Ursack, some of the extra food, so that takes a little weight off. And then I left a few articles of clothing inside, but my pack is still actually way heavier than I was thinking it would be, but that's okay. But it saves the effort of having to find a tent site and set it up. And honestly, it was a pain in the ass yesterday. Wow, I can't even feel my fingers right now. It is quite cool. He said he didn't even sleep last night because it was so cold he couldn't sleep. I slept great actually, even though it was like a really slanted tent site. I made it work given the terrain. He definitely had the best one he set up here, but I scoured for a while, didn't see anything better, so I took this one. I also want to leave it because I know there's a ton of people behind me that will be kind of getting here like a day behind me, and this was a popular site to do what I'm doing, as set up base camp and go. Per the comments in Far Out, and I think if some of those people come here with that idea, I don't want to be stuck where I'm coming back and I don't have a good place to camp. So I think it's the right move. But my tent's a little flimsy with these sticks, but actually I'm pretty impressed with how it looks with the sticks in there. So all right, I was catching a bit down trail and explain kind of what's on the radar for today. Well, I got my Ursack hanging on a tree here. I did basically do like a double, like the way you tie your shoes not there, and then I have two slip knots, and I threw a carabiner between them, so like that will not come out, like no matter what, until I open that carabiner. So it's nice and tight. Bears cannot get into this bag. Some people will just leave it on the ground, but it's just better to put it on a branch a few inches away from a tree. Now they could knock it down. I guess it's not going to come off here. They'd have to take this whole branch down, but they can't get into the bag, which is the point. But it makes it just a lot harder for them to kind of mess with it, to put it up there. So, okay. It is so cold I can't feel my fingertips, and I have gloves on. Been having to do that all morning. I am so ready to be done. I'm excited. I'm going to need the little things of wine I brought just to stay warm. Look at my soggy tent. Shoot, I got to fix this a little better. That is some high-tech engineering right there to keep my tent a lot stronger. You can see the ridge line on the tent is a lot tighter now in case it rains. I also took my liner out of my backpack, and I have all my sleeping bag, my clothes that I'm not wearing in there, especially my base layer that I sleep with at night to keep it dry in case it were to rain. I mean, in case. It's been doing it every day. Thankfully, last night's the first night in a long time it hasn't rained, but there's frost on the ground. I can't feel my fingertips. It's so cold. Okay, so I'm going to put all that stuff back in here. I've got my food, obviously, in the bear hang, along with anything that's scented, like toothpaste and that kind of stuff. So I think I feel okay leaving this camp now as is. It's a little, I think, after 7 o'clock. Wait, is it? One sec. Yep, 7:10. I woke up at 5:40, so it took me a little longer to do all this today, but hopefully it will be made up for with not having to set up camp later and a little bit of weight savings. So off to the border I go. I've got 15 miles to get there and 15 miles back. I think it's a little under 5,000 elevation gain. Obviously, it's going to be the exact same descent and ascent. It's going to be harder on the way back because there's a lot of descent to get there. Look at this bird. Pretty. So yeah, I'll check in down trail. I don't feel like walking over there because it's off trail, but those look like better campsites. I didn't see those last night. Protected, probably flatter. I walked way up there to look. I looked way down in there, and there are some clearly where people stay, but not very flat. But you know what? This is probably one of the toughest pitches I've ever had to do. It was cold and tough at night and dark, but I did get it after a while. It's hard to see right now, but it's like totally flat. There were literally roots. I was sleeping on like hard roots like that last night, but I just dealt with it. So I'll do that again tonight, and I'll be on my merry way. If this frost isn't a sign that it's time to be done, I don't know what is. But let's go to the terminus. Snow-capped mountains in the background. You can see my tent down in there. I think there were better probably camp spots down these trees, but it was hard to tell in the dark. I didn't look that direction. Man, I still can't feel my fingertips. Been walking for probably 5 minutes at least now. So cold. I mean, the good thing is, on one hand, I have extensive experience in this kind of weather growing up, spending much of my life in Chicago. On the other hand, I left about 5 years ago, and I've lived in much more hospitable places since then, so I've gotten a little soft with the cold. I've never been a cold guy, ever. I mean, I've done some stuff in cold just to toughen up before for certain stuff, but I can handle the heat way better than the cold. But the thing is, the cold, you can just, in theory, keep putting on layers, but I think that sounds nice, but in practice, like, the guy camped next to me yesterday, this morning, said how cold he was. He was like, I literally am wearing everything I own, like, with him, and he was so cold still. So, but I'm just happy it's not raining. I really wouldn't mind snow too much. It's not that much different for how it feels right now than if it was snowing. But the rain, I mean, if it was a ton and accumulated, I couldn't see the trail. Yeah, but the rain would be awful. I feel like even my face and lips are a little numb. I don't know if it sounds like I'm talking different. It kind of sounds to me like I am. I think it's just because they're really cold. The ground is frozen. Kind of hard to explain, but I guess whatever moisture was probably there kind of freezes together all the different rocks, so it has a very distinct sound when I'm walking on it, and feel, for sure. I'm glad I slept with my filter last night. You have to do that because if it goes below freezing, the water inside the filter can freeze, and then it can kind of ruin it. So then when it melts, it's not effective anymore at removing bacteria. I guess it doesn't matter that much at this point, now that I've made it, essentially. I mean, I guess I could get sick before I get out of here, so but I could always just get a new one. But nonetheless, I'm glad I slept with it. It's the right thing to do. I did run the weather. It said it was going to be just above freezing, but because it was even in the ballpark, which it's been for days, but it was even closer this time, I was like, I should sleep with it. So I wrapped it in my bandana, and sometimes I'll put it in my down jacket, which if I'm not using it for warmth, I will fold up my down jacket into the pocket that it condenses into, and then use it as like a little pillow between my legs. So I'll put the filter in the bandana and then that inside the jacket, which is folded in the pocket. Keeps nice and warm. But yesterday I was sleeping with my down jacket on because it was so cold. So I put the bandana wrapped filter in like my foot box, toe box, whatever, of the sleeping bag. And that should have given it enough warmth. It wouldn't be as warm as if it was in between my legs, but it was, sleeping bag gets so cold. Like if you're in like one position, then you move 20 minutes later, your feet or something to another part of the sleeping bag, it's like so cold. So, but yeah, filter should be good. That was a good choice. You know, I did not see a single person from Rainy Pass to Hearts Pass, that 30-mile stretch that I did. So I was like 10 or 12 miles after I saw my dad, and then I did about 19 or 20 yesterday morning to get to Hearts Pass. And I didn't see any tents either. Yet I've seen so many people on this stretch, which tells me, obviously could have missed someone here or there, but most of them, well, actually, I don't know about the people way ahead of me, but like anyone that I'm kind of seeing, I think now, today, pretty much probably wasn't on that stretch, or definitely anyone in the near vicinity of me. And it's just an odd juxtaposition. Like I went from being so alone and quiet and desolate to, you know, walking by 15 to 20 people yesterday that had just finished the day before. And I saw a few camped yesterday, and I'll see plenty more today. These rocks look so cool, like frostbitten. So cool. Also, seeing a lot of other people, already seeing other people going my way. All of a sudden, lots more people on trail than I've seen in the past couple weeks. Which makes sense for two reasons. One, this is the end, so people might be slowing down their pace or just taking whatever, going faster, so everyone's in a way aggregating here. And two, you get all the people, you gotta turn around and come back then. So there could be people going almost your same pace that you never see, but all of a sudden now they're coming back for 30 miles. So interesting. So I think that's where someone stepped, and you can see they're almost like icicles, or sort of like ice crystals, or like pieces, I believe, of just water that was probably in the ground between the rocks and the ground. And so interesting. It looks so cool. I'm not really in a super emotional or contemplative or reflective state right now, and I'm sure that'll hit at some point. I don't know when. Presumably today at some point, but like right now I'm just kind of walking. But I was just thinking how crazy it is this is almost over. Like, I can tell you this, I have extreme gratitude. I was humbled through the injuries that my body sustained, and I have extreme gratitude that it was resilient enough to bounce back and allow me to finish this hike, presumably, barring some act of God here. I am less than 15 miles away from completing my mission. So, extreme gratitude. So, just, which I always try to maintain, but that's grown over the 6 months here. And I was humbled for sure through multiple injuries. And while I fully acknowledge that it took a lot of resilience on my end and toughness to fight through, and to sacrifice relationships of really cool people I meet for actually sticking true to my main priority of finishing this hike and completing it in a proper manner, or what I view as, you know, what I had defined for myself as a proper manner, not skipping miles. Like, sacrificed a lot even on trail for that. Like, really great people I meet that couldn't hike with anymore, and being alone for a lot of this journey. Made many friends and hiked with many people along the way, but I definitely spent more nights than not alone camping, and that's tough psychologically too. So I definitely acknowledge it took a certain amount of fortitude and discipline and all of that, but on my behalf to get to this point. But I mean, I also was very humbled through the process and realizing that I kind of felt a good amount of that is out of our control. Like with what injuries come up, and I mean, it's how you handle it, I guess. But there's so many people who had to quit or get off trail because of injuries that just never came back. The estimate's somewhere around 15 to 20% of people who start this hike in Mexico finish here in Canada. And I'm learning a good amount of those didn't do every mile either, which has been discussed plenty of times on here. So it is not many. And I guess what I'm summarizing is, yes, there's some of that can be attributed, I guess, to quote unquote me, but a lot of it, I don't know if luck's the right word, but I just have gratitude. I'm grateful for the fact that my body held up enough in the aggregate to make it, to be able to go finish this today. So definitely have gratitude. It's just crazy to think how long I've been out here and how much sacrifice and it's taken to get to this point. Like, I'm pretty exhausted. It was definitely interesting seeing all the people yesterday. They're like all quite exhausted coming back. It's that final push really takes a lot after everything. I mean, doing this day in and day out, more or less, for 5.5 months or whatever is just, it's very draining. But in ways it was also uplifting. Like, being out here was something I liked most. Definitely my top thing of being out here, what I liked about it was having clear purpose every day. And not like I've had many jobs where you have purpose, like you have something to focus on every day, but like it just felt so trivial and pointless. But like this, like you're doing something physical, it's for yourself, and you know what your purpose is each day. And there's something beautiful about that, and kind of primitive in a way, back to like sort of our roots. We're outside surviving, moving, and just existing, but you gotta keep going every day. So anyways, not feeling super emotional, but it is just really hard to kind of grasp. I think I haven't really comprehended the fact that like it's almost done. Like I'll tag the terminus, I'll go back to my base camp, and then tomorrow I'll hike out and that'll be it. That hasn't really hit me yet. Like, obviously I'm acknowledging it by speaking of it, I'm aware of it, but it doesn't feel like that. Like, this has been my life for half a year. It'd be dramatic to say I don't know another way, or but like, it'll definitely take some adjusting, but like, this has been my life for half a year, and like, what does life look like after this? I don't know, and we'll see how all that plays out, but it just hasn't sunk in yet that this journey of half a year basically is almost complete. Every step that I've taken, I've worked for to get to here is almost come to fruition. Well, it's looking like the PCT gods might not want to smite me just yet, because this looks like it's shaping up to be the most beautiful day since I can remember. Definitely in the last like week and a half, but I don't remember seeing a day like this in the morning in a long time. There's been brief moments in the afternoons where it's been sunny and kind of looked nice like this, clear skies, but as of now, could not be asking for a nicer terminus day after everything it took this past whatever weeks to get here. It is cool out, but it's warming up. You can see, at least in this part that's in the sun, you don't see the frost on the ground anymore. I can feel my fingertips again. These are good things. Well, hopefully it's not prematurely, but I just took my winter hat off and down jacket off, and I haven't done anything to my hair since I slept it in. So, I'm not really in a rush today, which is how it should be. I feel like, 30 miles is a lot to have to do, but I don't mind too much if I'm hiking some of those miles back in the dark, if I want to hang out at the terminus for a while during the day, because what I hate most about night hiking is trying to find a tent site. Like, if it was light yesterday, I probably would have seen those spots in the woods. There might have been something better, but because there wasn't, it was really hard to find the creek that was close by was like marshy. So I was like stepping in like very mushy, marshy kind of stuff. It was just hard to, so that's an example. It sucks setting up in the dark. But that's all done for me already. So yeah, I'm not in a huge rush. And again, today's no cakewalk. Almost, I think, 5,000 feet up and down over 30 miles, but my pack's a lot lighter. It didn't feel a lot lighter when I picked it up, but I noticed it on my back for sure, which is a nice little break. And my camp's set up ready, so I'm gonna enjoy it to the extent I want to, you know? Can't tell if this is that same valley that I was so awestruck by yesterday, just I'm lower and closer to it, or if they just all kind of look the same. I'm not the best with kind of the spatial awareness of where we came from, where we're going. I mean, obviously I'm going north in general and all that, but like those two girls I was talking to on the way, they were heading out yesterday, like she knew immediately. She's like pointed over a mountain range or like over a layer of mountains. She's like, you can see the trail right there. Like, I'm just not great at that. I didn't think of this because I've just been so used to there being like no prolonged sunlight like this the last week plus. Should have brought my sleeping bag so I could dry it out. The guy next to me said it's so cold, all his gear's wet or damp. Sucks, he can't dry it out. Like, yeah, my sleeping bag last night was not dry. I tried to dry it off at lunch a little bit yesterday when I was at Hearts Pass, but it was cold and overcast, so I definitely was sleeping in a slightly damp sleeping bag, which just sucks. And I think that probably led to my athlete's foot or fungus or whatever flaring up, because I've had the discipline the last few days not to scratch it while I'm awake, but I woke up twice last night when it like became conscious I was scratching my foot. So I feel it extra itching now, but it's just been so wet. You can see the sunlight sweeping the frost away. Here's all the frost. And there's still some where the sun's more recent, and then very little where the sun's prominent. Beautiful view to come up to. Definitely regretting taking my layers off right now. Might have to actually put them back on. Just ebbs and flows a lot. Going uphill in the sun versus catching a draft of wind when you're not going uphill anymore. I probably change layers more frequently than most. I don't know that for sure, but that's my sense. I am all for the frost, and I'll tell you why. That would otherwise be water. That would be car washing in my pants, and this is why I say I don't want snow, but in a way I feel like it's more manageable than very cold, wet rain. Not to say rain isn't wet, I just meant sort of like get the point across. Cold and wet, cold and rainy. Yeah, this is great because I walk by it, I know I'm not gonna collect a bunch of water. And obviously this is an open trail at the moment, but for much of it yesterday there was plants like this but sticking out way more, that I brush against, so don't mind this at all. Interesting just to see those clouds just sitting in that valley way below the peaks. Well, I just filled up from this. I'm going to still call it leaf tech, even though it's more like a stem, but this could be the last water I fill up till I hit the border. I filled up a liter and drank a bunch. I don't like filling up down across the trail because the filters for bacteria but not viruses, and like people step here and you never know if they just came from town, and like, but there's no other options. And you can see I'm just grateful there's water flowing still because of the frosts. I figured it would be, but it's a very small creek, so you never know. But yeah, I think I got like 9 miles to go to Canada. Man, it's freaking cold. Oh, gotta earn it every step here. There was a brief moment in the sun earlier where it was nice. Like, it is, can't feel my fingertips. I am just cold. I feel like this feels like winter in Chicago. Like, I know that feeling way too well. What it's like when you breathe in that cold air. Oh my God, I love it. Somebody made a 9 miles left sign. It's so cute. Just in the middle of the trail. Oh, so cold. Just gotta earn it every day out here, even the very last 9 miles. Not coming easy. Eight miles to go. I gotta say, I really like that they have these, but someone made these, but that last mile, seemed a lot longer. Like when you're counting each mile, it really seems to drag on. All right, just reached this unnamed pass, kind of high point. Great 360 views. It is a little under 8 miles to the border now, or yeah, to the border. It's not really even sinking in yet as I say that. There's literally like less than 200 feet of elevation gain to the border from here. 2,700 and some change of descent. So nice way to cruise into the border. However, I obviously have to turn around and do all this today on the way back. But that's a problem for after I have a couple glasses of White Zinfandel. I just ran into an old friend. Hot Cheese is the trail name. There's a photo of us, so you see at the end here. It's so nice just seeing people. She gave me a thing of rice in Tuolumne Meadows, of a Nor pasta side of Spanish rice, and told me she just cooks it in the bag. And since then, I've learned to do that, and it was just cool to see her again. I think she's around with her husband, maybe there. Just really a good way to round out to see all these people that I had met along the way on this crazy adventure. Seven miles to go on my Pacific Crest Trail adventure. I feel like I'm counting down. It's the longest New Year's Eve countdown of my life. Right now is what it feels like. Let's go. 6 miles to the Canadian border. A journey of 2,655 miles. Many, countless more miles off trail that did not count against the PCT. 6 left. There's a sign for 5 miles. I don't know if I might have missed this one. I don't know if this is the same person or the people that set up the ones on the trail. So, like, maybe I'll see a 5 shortly, or that is it. But 5 miles to go. Yeah, as I figured, that last 5 was an old 5. I like these, and these are more accurate. I checked the map. 5 miles to go. Wow. That's crazy. I actually don't have a clue how I'm going to act when I get there or what I'm going to do. It's just, this is weird. It's starting to be a weird feeling. This has been my life for half a year. Just wake up, hike as much as your body can take amidst all the other things you got to do just to allow it to hike, like stretch and poop and make meals and resupply and find shelter and manage the weather and all that stuff. It's just everything, all the ancillary activities contributing to chipping away at the mileage needed. About an hour ago, I had thought back to literally the very first mile leaving Campo. There's a sign that says like 1 mile down and 2,650 whatever to go, and it's just crazy to be on the other end of this now. I mean, this really is quite an undertaking. It's hard to explain the feeling of just so much work to get up to this moment. Sign for the U.S. border. One mile to go. I never drink on trail. I mean, I think I had a beer at the halfway point, and I remember packing out a drink, I think one other time maybe, but I drink in towns more than I usually do these days outside of the trail, but I was always celebratory in towns. But I feel 1 mile left. I'm going to have my first drink on the walk there, and I took my headphones out for this mile. I'm not in a deep state of reflection just yet. I did pause at the 1 mile and kind of say some prayers, if you will, or sort of reflections and thank yous and express gratitude and all of that. But I want this to stay celebratory. I'm gonna have plenty of time to reflect on the 30 miles back, and all the time just sort of gathering myself and recovering after this. So it's celebratory. I pretty much only drink celebratory. I've never turned to it as a coping mechanism or anything. So I want to enjoy this. I'm really tired. It's hitting me like sleepy, tired, exhausted, just fatigued. But I want to spend a little time hanging out here, but I'm going to enjoy this as I walk to the terminus. I just had a second where the magnitude of what I've done kind of hit me, and I was just like, holy shit. It's just the magnitude just hit me. It's easy when you're in the moment each day. You just know I don't think you can succeed at something like this if you are thinking about the end too much. I wanted to sort of manifest a little bit. One sec. I forgot what I was saying. Just talk to those people real quick, but yeah, I think if you just gotta kind of segment and just take it a day at a time. And if you're struggling and it's mile 13 or whatever the day, and it's just uphill, whatever, it's just a tough situation, and you think, I have to do this for the next 4 months, or I still have 17,000 miles to go, or 100 days, how am I going to do this? Like, once in a while I'd have those moments, but you got to flush that out quick and really just stay focused on the task at hand and break it down in a bunch of little pieces. I many times have said the number 2,655, or early on it was, I was rounding, but like the actual magnitude of this is kind of setting in a little bit. Oh, I should say, I always drank on trail when it was available, like at Trail Magic or in a cooler that somebody left. My first thing would be go for a beer. So it wasn't some like principled thing. It was really just I didn't want to carry the weight. But it stands out to actually be like walking and drinking. I don't think I ever did that. The light trauma from this past, whatever it was, it feels like an eternity. I'd have to look back and check, but at least a week of just rain on and off during the day and then rain at night. Still pretty rough, and all of that. It just feels like I haven't forgotten it, but almost like a distant memory, because right now, this weather I could not ask for a better day. I don't think there's been a better weather day since the last week or 10 days or whatever it's been. Like, nothing I can remember, I can tell you that. And I couldn't be more grateful. I guess the PCT gods are looking down upon me and everyone else today favorably, so very grateful for that. But it's really, I really couldn't ask for a better day, given the time of year and what relative to what's been going on. And I am going to have to update the far out comments, because nobody's been updating the water for almost like 2 weeks. So I know there's at least 20 people I know personally behind me, and many others I'm sure that I don't know, still trying to finish this. And so I've been updating. I try to update the water comments for everyone, be a good far out citizen. So that will be my last water update. And I have, under the pseudonym Swamp Fox, which I use for many things, and quite frankly should be my trail name, and maybe I might just adopt it if I ever do future thru hikes in the future, if I do other thru hikes in the future. But under the pseudonym Swamp Fox on Far Out, with some numbers next to it, I've tried to do my part in updating at any critical juncture. Like, if it's a water source that's flowing year round, like, I'm not trying to like prove a point here, but if it needed it, and I'd always update. So, well, I just saw someone coming the other way. I might probably like half a mile here to go, or not even, to the border, and we talked for a while. He looked familiar. Definitely had seen him around or met him, but didn't know him well at all. But we chatted. He was continuous footpath, so he walked continuously from Mexico to Canada. Now, most people I know continuous footpath, they would take the shortcuts and stuff, which I respect that. I think you got to pick one, more like redline purist like myself, but then I say pragmatic purist, because like if there's a fire closure, I'm not gonna road walk around it. If there was anything material on this trail, like say at over 100 miles of closure or something, I was planning to come back and do it. But thankfully we had a really lucky year with that, which we were just talking about. But I respect the continuous footpath people equally with the people who are redline purists. You really do have to kind of pick one. I had my one friend Jack, who was in the early videos heading into Sierra, was doing both. But that's the only person I've met. So like he'd literally like walk forward and then retrace his steps essentially, and then do what was recommended. So anyways, it was really cool talking with him, because he was surprised at how many people have been skipping so casually. He's like, it's kind of like what I said, they're just willing to jump on any excuse to just skip miles, which is fine. He's like, I'm not trying to judge, it's their experience. But like, that's somebody there that, like he said, what makes it a challenge out here the most is when you're tired and you're hungry and it's like the worst situation, you still have to push for it and handle it and not just bail out. So I have a great deal of respect for people like him, and I think it was just a moment. We talked for probably 10-15 minutes and took it in, and even though we didn't know each other very well, it was just a nice shared moment out here. So it's probably the next video basically will be heading into the terminus. He said there's a lot of people there, so got to prepare for that. I definitely feel this glass of wine. Not a lot, but I can tell I had a little something to drink. Probably, I don't know what being out here does to your tolerance, but I would drink in town here and there, but I'm definitely more of probably lightweight, so to speak, than I was prior to coming out here. I don't know what the reason for that would be is, but I've heard other people say that too. Like, anyways, they're like way more sensitive to it. But beautiful backdrop here. I could not ask for a better day for this. Like, it's almost like a reward. Like, if I did try to skip because of how bad it's been or whatever, like, there's a lot of people I've met that kind of skipped that whole section. Rainy Pass to Hearts Pass, someone they got a ride up. A hostel does it called Lion's Den, I think, out of Mazama. I guess I've been saying it wrong, Mazama, not Mazama. But anyways, like, either way, like, it's just, if I had not the timing, right? You could look at it, butterfly effect, a million ways, but the timing of this could not be better for like the one nice day that I can think of in the last week or more, and probably like one of a few nice days in the last few weeks. So very, very, very grateful and happy and lucky for that. I'm peeing, probably like my 8th time peeing today, or 9th time. I chugged some water before I left, but obviously wasn't sweating much because how cold it was. So anyways, I heard people screaming back there, like cheering. So I'd imagine there's a decent amount of people hanging out, and when you get there, they cheer for you. So very excited. I have 0.2 miles to go. Same distance from when I just filmed that last video, but I just checked. It's just crazy. I mean, I knew it was close because I can hear people, but like, wow, what a journey it's been. A huge thank you. I was going to do this later, but I guess just do it now. Huge thank you to each and every one of you who's been following along on this journey with me and supporting me. A huge thank you to all the trail angels and people who didn't even know what the PCT was that gave me rides when I was hitchhiking. Thank you to my friends and family that knew me beforehand that had been following along, and all the people I met along the way who have been following along. And a special thank you too to everyone who told me explicitly they're thinking of me or praying for me and in their intentions. I really appreciate that and support. And at some point a while from now, I'll get back to everyone. I haven't even opened my messages in over a week. It's just getting overwhelming, but it's been quite a journey. I hope you've enjoyed the ride. I will do much more reflecting for myself, and I'm sure I'll have some thoughts more to come on here, but it has been quite the journey. I think I might just keep the vlog or the film rolling all the way to get to the terminus. I'm tired, but I'm ready to celebrate a little bit here before turning around and hiking 30 miles back. Back to Hearts Pass. Today I'll do 15 miles back to my base camp, but April 11th is when I started. I've walked 2,654.9 miles, or sorry, no, 2,655.7 miles. The total trail is 2,655.8. So I am almost there. And I'm just grateful. Gratitude is what I want to express the most. I had early on in my mind this memory, or I was envisioning myself sort of being at this northern terminus, like very early on in the hike, and like doing like some intense cheer or something, which I still might do. But I've been humbled through the process very much, and I just really want to express gratitude just in general for the fact that my body held up and I was able to make it here despite having so many injuries and pains, including 3 that took me off trail. First was day 14, the second was day 62, and the last one was in Ashland. I don't know what day that was. Somewhere in the 90s, I think. So it has been such a struggle in that sense, and I'm just so grateful that at the end of the day, my body held up enough to let me push it to the levels needed to get here. I did pack out lunch. I'm carrying a decent amount of food, more than I need, but definitely gonna chill here for a bit, have a lunch. Like I said, if I have to hike in the night to get back to camp, that's okay, because I know where I'm going. It's set up already. Oh my gosh, I see Welcome to Canada sign. This is a surreal moment here for me. What's up? Oh wow, there's a checkered flag. Thanks, rock and roll.
Yeah, man.
Are y'all photoing right now? What's up? I haven't seen you all in a while.
You got it.
We're waiting for the other two, like, for ages.
All right, I'll get out of your way. I'm just gonna touch it. I haven't seen you guys in like a couple hundred miles. What's up? I think since like Sierra City. Wow. Officially part of the class of PCT 2025. Let's go. Graduated. Is that the actual border? We gotta walk to there. Okay. Probably should do that.
We just got mixed up, okay?
Boom. I am in Canada. I don't think I've been in Canada since like 1998. I gotta confirm that. But I can only imagine the party that would be 8 miles down is a lodge. You used to be allowed to walk through. They've now changed their permitting stuff. I need to look into that more. I presume it's just a petty response to like policy and tariffs they don't agree with, which is whatever. Not my place to get political, but it seems quite petty. But everyone used to get to go 8 miles in, and there's a lodge there and just party. I can only imagine what that was like. But it's also kind of nice walking back. You get to see people.
You got the flag sector? Yes. I got a flag.
Just kind of a little close to everything, but whatever. Treaty of 1846. So that's what I presume where the boundary was. Oh yeah, that's cool. I guess this is it. United States. Canada. Okay, this is actually the border. You're not doing this right. It's like,
Yeah. I'm so. If you have a hater, that means you're succeeding.
yeah, right?
Good job.
Oh man,
What's the name of your YouTube again?
Mountain Heart Hikes.
All right. Everyone watch that. Yeah.
Okay. I've been so conflicted about doing this. Initially, when I
Yeah.
let out the hike, I was like, I manifested being here and like having this moment where I was gonna yell like death or victory.
Yeah.
And then it's just been so humbling, like the injuries the whole way. Like I just feel so grateful to be here. Like I don't have this like intense like I did it, but like because I had thought about it so much, I'm still gonna give it a little try.
Good.
Death or victory?
Yeah.
Try it again. Please get really psyched up.
Really? All right.
Do it, get psyched up. I know it.
Death or victory? Hey, that's awesome. Thanks, Celeste. And thank you, Rock and Roll,
Yeah.
so much for the video. You can see the actual border there. It's cut down. I'm literally sitting on the border, actually, accidentally. I didn't even notice. That's wild. Just finished writing my entry in the trail log here. People really take the time to write. I haven't really read anyone else's stuff. Actually, I should flip through, but this is not really a just sign your name kind of thing. Like, people are writing big stuff, and I'm like, where does this end up? Like, who gets this? That's what I want to know. There's my entry. I'll post a photo at the end of it with it if you're interested, but I didn't think too hard on it. But all right, it's literally in the books. It is a little past 3:30. I am still here at the terminus. No one else is here anymore. In fact, someone came and went since I've been here. I think I arrived at 1:37 p.m. on October 3rd, 2025. And so 2 hours at least here seems sufficient to me. Didn't want to rush it, but oh man, there's the aggressive chipmunks coming in. It's nice to have a little time to myself, but I had 4 of these little, it doesn't say the ounces on the container, so I don't know exactly, but it can't be more than a glass. I can guess like a half glass maybe in here, but so I feel a little buzz from it. It's nice to have something. Thank you very much to my dad. Cheers for bringing this. But I want to take this last sip as a cheers to all of you. I was sitting here reflecting before I took this last sip, and one thought process and reflection led to another. And really, this is to everyone who supported me and followed along on this journey in support of me, and just everything it took to get here. I put in a lot of effort, and it was a lot on me, but I couldn't have done it with all the help from everyone who picked me up, from hitchhiking to just the prayers and intentions and thoughts and support of those close to me and those people that I grew close to and met on this trail. So thank you for that. So my last little moment here before I start heading back. I'll definitely be hiking in the dark for a few hours, but as mentioned earlier, and I explained why, I'm very good with that. So cheers to you. All right, time to leave. Been here for almost exactly 2 hours. It is 15 miles back to base camp, and then 15 more to Hearts Pass, and we'll figure it out from there. It's going to be dark by the time I get there, but that's okay. Time to get trekking. It's going to be a lot of uphill because I'm reversing what I did on the way down, but it is time well spent here. Death or victory, very grateful for the ability to have the time, resources, both financial, physical, to do this, and also that my body held up during all this time. It was such a struggle with the injuries, and I'm just so grateful that I was able to accomplish this mission. So hoo-yah, I'll see you all down the line, but the line is ended. So I will see you all as I backtrack on the line, and then this journey is done. However, I will be posting more on this channel. I don't know if it'll be a lot, but for sure there will be a few more videos to come that will hopefully have some information that I found that would be helpful to share for people trying to do this in the future, as long as some of my thoughts and whatnot. So stay tuned for that. Beyond that, I have no idea what's to come, but I will share that as I find out. So cheers and Godspeed. Leonidas, I've brought far more warriors than you. You there, Athenian, what is your profession? I'm a blacksmith, sir. And you, what is your profession? Woodsman, sir. Spartans, what is your profession? Ow! 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 You see, dear friend, I've brought more warriors than you. Well, there's a lot to be happy about because the job is finished. Now I just have to exfil 30 miles and take the night back where I was last night. And that's a wrap. I just passed mile 3 upside down though, and 3 left to go, 3 solo. And it's a little tormenting. I saw it and then I processed it and I was like, oh God, I've only done 2 miles. Or excuse me, 3 miles. I'm like, there's quite a ways to go tonight. Wow, the idea of not having to set up my home when I'm done for the night is so relieving. I mean, it's crazy to think. I mean, obviously there's probably 20 to 25 town days mixed in there, but this is day 152. So call it 125 days or so of just hiking all day. You're exhausted, and you got to go find a suitable place to set up your home for the night, which involves many factors. And then you got to do the work on top of everything else, like cleaning your body and I got all that. The thought of not having to do that for a night is incredible out here. I am about 5.5 miles back from the terminus, so I don't know how to measure these. Let's just call it -5 for now. We could keep positive, but I've got 30 miles back to Harts Pass, so 5.5 miles is a Sobo. I've passed 4 of the people that were hanging out at the terminus. Even though I left a while after them, I've just been pushing hard. It was very nice to see some of them again, because despite not knowing them, really any of them before today, it'll be a special memory for me of the people that were there when I finished, and I hope in some very ancillary capacity I serve the same for them. Looks like it's time for the rain. I got 9 miles to go to get back to base camp. Could not be more appreciative of the weather today, so I really can't complain if it's raining now. It's just time to exfil and call this a successful mission. Well, I took a picture here on the way to the terminus. It's just so breathtaking. A little dramatic, but for lack of a better adjective, I had to stop again. I've got 1 mile to the top of this climb, and then I will be downhill back to camp from there, which is about 5 more, I think, or 6 more. I still got 7.5 miles, 7.5 to get back, and still about 450-foot climb back up to that peak. Then 7.5 miles back to base camp. So I've done 22.5 so far. It's a little cold and wet. I think I've got my white Zinfandel jacket on. I'm gonna definitely have to be hiking in the night, but I'm making progress. I'm definitely pushing hard. Well, the white Zinfandel jacket did not last more than probably 2 minutes since I said that, but people I passed have been in rain jackets the whole time, so whatever. Definitely putting it on now. Got a little bit climb to go, and then down probably 7 miles or so to base camp. And yes, if you're wondering, I'm so tired. I've been all day, but it's just been overshadowed by the excitement of finishing. But I'm like a little out of breath right now. Stop for a minute. Almost done with this climb back up. And it just hits me like, wow, I am so fatigued on many levels. But mission accomplished. Job's done. It's time to go home. It's definitely too hot in this, but I don't feel like stopping to take it off. Well, I'm getting little hail pellets again and rain. I think that's what I call sleet. Not a huge deal, given kind of used to it over the last week. As much as I'm sick of it, it's a totally different kind of mental impact since I'm on my way out. Could still do without it, but it's kind of whatever. Quintessential PCT moment. Those of you following the vlog know it for a while know what I mean by that. So I was thinking it was 15 miles to terminus. These are kind of like negative miles now. So I'm on like -8. Does that mean by the time I do -15 back to my tent, I basically did net 0? I'm tired of this, Grandpa. That's too damn bad. Basically sunset time, 6:35. Nice valley. I haven't seen a hare or rabbit since like the Sierras. It's beautiful, the white paws. Oh, that was so cool. Got a little over 5 miles to go. It is very sleety coming down. Just put on my nightlight and winter hat. Might put on my winter coat, but right now I'm keeping it off because I'm trying to move fast. I am going to categorize this as snow. It's sort of like coming into my face, almost perpendicular to my face, and it's sleety, but I feel like on that spectrum it's tilting more towards snow now. It's really coming down. I would definitely just call it just snow almost at this point, which is better than rain for me. But I've been debating stopping to put on my rain pants because my pants are starting to get fairly wet because the snow's coming in like 45 almost, degree angle, and then it's just dries and gets wet. But I just want to get back to base camp, so I'm just gonna keep moving. So as I got lower, it was more like rain on that scale, and now I'm climbing up again. It's pretty much snow, and I don't mind it at all. It's not the problem that rain poses. Made it up the pass that I was here this morning. Got about a mile left to go to camp. Well, I am back in my tent at base camp. I was worried with the storm if the sticks were going to hold up, and one of the two kind of did. The other one blew out. But the tent was still like kind of in a square in the bottom. So not much water got in, so I cleaned that up. However, the freaking zippers on my Durston tent on both vestibules just keep breaking. I just spent like 10 or 15 minutes finagling them just to get it to close to keep the rain out. So unbelievable. I'm going to reach out to them after this hike, but this is literally the last night I needed to hold up. So I'm going to make dinner. It was quite a climb back in the dark and up that pass, and snow. I think it was mostly snow towards the end there, but no rain, and just it was sleet. Let's just call it sleet. I'm really exhausted. I'm so ready to be done. So tomorrow I think I'm finally done. But this is a great day overall. I was very grateful for the weather today. Hopefully tomorrow will be a nice day on the walkout. But this has been day 152 on my adventure from Mexico to Canada, which I made it. I will see you all tomorrow.